Welcome to the Stockport County Shirt Collection. My name's Ben. What we've got here is 168 original Stockport County shirts. If you were here in person, I would say to you, please don't touch any of the shirts. And the reason I'd say that is because looking at some of these older ones, they're not really up to much punishment. They are in quite a poor condition. And if they were to fall apart, it would ruin my day. So we'll start with that shirt. That's a 1967-68 Umbro away shirt. That was worn by Johnny Price in an FA Cup replay away at Macclesfield. At the time, Macclesfield they were barely non-league, they were almost Sunday League, but they still beat us 2-1 in the replay at the Moss Rose. Moving on to this now, and this is probably the most famous shirt in the collection, not just for county fans, but for football shirt collectors across the world, and this is known as the Argentina shirt. At the time we wore this was also the outbreak of the Falklands War as well, and given its similarity to the Argentina home shirts, this was withdrawn from circulation, counties stopped playing in it, and we wore a plain white Adidas template shirt with just the Adidas crest, no county crest, no sponsor. Also from that season is the away shirt worn by Osher Williams, and in this shirt we became the first ever fourth tier side to beat a top tier side over two legs, beating Sunderland 3-2 on aggregate. Into the mid-80s now, and we've got the 86-87 home shirt worn by Ernie Moss. Came to us on loan from Chesterfield midway through the season and scored 7 goals, playing a big part in keeping County in the Football League. And then moving through now into the 90s and the start of probably the greatest decade in the club's history. 1990-91, County get promoted from the 4th tier up to the 3rd tier, and on the final day of the season we beat Scunthorpe 5-0 at Edgeley Park. This is a shirt from that game worn by record county appearance holder Andy Thorpe, and another one from that game as well. He scored on the day, number 9, the Pearl, Kevin Francis, and that is one of several big Kev shirts that are in the collection today. It's an unpopular opinion, but I always say, looking at the red shirt from that season as well, that all of County's best shirts have got red on them. So moving on into our first season back in the 3rd tier, 1991-92, we've moved from Ribeiro to Gola. We've lost Gordon Fraud, and we start the season without a sponsor. A few weeks into the season, we get Cobra Lager, a little known drinks company at the time, making their first foray into the UK market. This is the away shirt with Cobra Lager on. We go to the end of the 1991-92 season, and we make it to Wembley for our first time. And we don't make it there just once, we make it there twice. In the first game, we play Stoke, and it's the Gola template with the addition of the Robinson's Best Bitter sponsor, but also the Wembley 92 embroidery. And a week later, we play Peterborough in this yellow and blue shirt, again with the Robinson sponsor replacing Cobra Lager. That is Paul Wheeler's shirt from the Peterborough game, and that is Andy Priest's shirt from the Peterborough game. And in classic county style, we lose both matches and we remain in the 3rd tier. So moving on now to 1992-93. It's basically the same shirt as we wore at the Stoke final without the Wembley 92 embroidery. We've also got the regular season away shirt, and the yellow and blue shirt we wore against Peterborough did act as our 3rd shirt in several games. Also that season we had a 4th shirt, and this is probably the rarest shirt in the collection today. We wore this in a 2-0 defeat at Brighton in October 1992. It's the only time we ever wore it, as all the previous 3 kits that we had that season were deemed to clash with Brighton's blue and white shirts. So move on now to 1993-94. This was the regular season home shirt, but with a delay in production of those shirts, we did play the first few games in the previous season's 92-93 shirt, including a League Cup tie against Hartlepool at EP. But once these shirts arrived, became very popular, and this is another one worn by Kevin Francis, number 9. And if you can look at the shirt there, you can see it's got some really nice signs of wear, where Kevin Francis has been certainly bullying defenders out of the way. We started the season with the sponsor printed directly onto the fabric, but following a complaint from Robinson's, a turquoise band was added to make the sponsor more prominent. This is a shirt that up until recently was in the National Football Museum in Manchester, and it will be going back into there on permanent loan afterwards, but we couldn't really have a county shirt exhibition without featuring Kevin Francis' shirt. Staying in 93-94, this is also the away shirt from that season. That's a long sleeve number 11 worn by Andy Priest. At the end of 93-94, we make our 4th appearance at Wembley, we're back there and we played Burnley in the Division 2 playoff final. In that game, we make a little bit of history. We become the first club in a Wembley final to have 2 players sent off in the game. Chris Beaumont and Michael Wallace are both sent off, and that is Michael Wallace's shirt, and that is Chris Beaumont's shirt from the game. We lose the game 2-1 to Burnley. Also in that final, we have this keeper shirt that was worn by John Keeley. You can see it's got the Wembley 94 embroidery, which differs from the regular season issue shirt, which didn't have the embroidery. About 10 minutes into that game, referee David Ellery said we had to take this shirt off, and John Keeley had to start wearing this other shirt over here, which I will show you now. So John Keeley changed into this shirt, and the reason for that, the shirt we started the game in was deemed to be too much of a clash with the Burnley keeper shirt, and if there'd been a coming together, it would have been difficult to see who'd got to the ball. So we finished the game in that shirt, lost the game 2-1. So we move into 94-95 now. The last season, 94-95 now, we're still in the 3rd tier, and on the opening game of the season, we play Cardiff, we win 4-1. Making his debut for County that day is Alan Armstrong. That's Alan Armstrong's shirt from the season. The away shirt that year is the black, white and red Super League one. Again, we start with no sponsor before Sandringham Textiles come on board. Moving on to 95-96 now, and we've now got Dave Jones in charge of manager, and Dave Jones describes this kit as being a dog's dinner. Most famously, we wore this in a 2-2 draw at Everton in the FA Cup. Their first game as FA Cup holders in defence of the trophy. We draw 2-2 at Goodison, and in the replay, we lose 3-2, a late John Ebrell goal winning the game for them. But opening the scoring that day for County was Matty Bound, and that's his number 6 shirt. Also in the League Cup that season, we won away at Ipswich, and we also played at Villa Park, losing 2-0 to Aston Villa, and that's Alan Armstrong's away shirt from the season. Also worth mentioning the ridiculous Neil Edwards Aztec keeper shirt. So that's the end of 95-96 now, and we'll move on to 1996-97, and probably the club's most successful season in their history. So in this season, 96-97, we've got the regular blue home shirt, that's a long sleeve number 9, worn by Brett Angel. We've also got another home shirt there, that's number 10, worn by Alan Armstrong. We've got an 11 away shirt, worn by Kevin Cooper and John Jeffers, and a number 10 away shirt, worn by Alan Armstrong, which we'll come back to in a moment. So 22nd of October 1996, we play Blackburn away. League Cup 3rd round, Blackburn playing blue and white halved shirts, which means we can't wear our blue shirt, we can't wear our white away shirt, so we need a 3rd shirt making up specially for the game, and this is it. So we've talked about the most famous County shirt, the Argentina one. We've talked about the rarest County shirt being the red one worn at Brighton. This was undoubtedly the most sought after County shirt, and this is known as the Romania shirt. And the reason for that is, if you look closely into the fabric, you can still see it's got the Romanian FA woven into it. And then if you turn this inside out here, under the County crest, you can see that the Romanian FA crest is still woven in there. There was only 12 of these ever made. Like I say, it's undoubtedly the most sought after County shirt there is, and there's 3 of them in this collection. And they were all sized XXL, so you can imagine Lee Todd and Louis Cavaco trying to run round wearing one of these shirts. Moving on to later of the season, 66th game of the season, 28th of April 1997, we go to Saltergate, Chesterfield, knowing that a win will get us promoted. We do win, and we do get promoted. At the end of the game, Alan Armstrong takes his shirt off and runs to the County fans and throws his shirt in. This is his shirt from Saltergate, 24 years old. It's still got the mud on it, and it's never been washed. And then we've got the other away shirt from that season. This is a long-sleeved number 11, as I say, worn predominantly by Kevin Cooper and John Jeffers. And we've also got the second choice keeper shirt, which we did start the season as first choice keeper shirt, and the green keeper shirt, which was predominantly worn by Paul Jones throughout the campaign. So that takes us from 96-97, and we get another season out with the same home shirt in 1997-98. So 97-98, we're now in the 2nd tier, and we've got some genuinely big games. We've got Birmingham, we've got Sunderland, we've got Wolves, but biggest of all, we've got Manchester City, and they come to Edgeley Park on the 29th of November 1997. It's the first time in over 80 years we've played them in the league game, and we're 3-0 up after half an hour. Les Battersby walking out of the ground, and the guy who opened the scoring for us that day was number 8, Paul Cook. The following season, 1998-99, we have one last season with Adidas. This is Chris Burns' home shirt, Mike Flynn's away shirt. And you can tell it's got the telltale V-neck rip, which Mike Flynn had in all his shirts from that season. We then move on from Adidas in 99-2000 into Patrick shirts, and this is another one worn by Flinny. But if we are talking Patrick shirts from 1999, there's only one shirt we can really talk about, and there's only one game we can really focus on, and that's 7th of December 1999, Manchester City away at Main Road. City take the lead just after half-time, Gerard Vikings opening the scoring. With about 70 minutes gone, County equalise, and the scorer for County is number 23, Alan Bailey, and that's his shirt worn in the game. 3 minutes before the end, Alan Bailey's pulled down by Nicky Weaver, County get a penalty. Tony Dinning converts that penalty, we win the game 2-1. Unfortunately, that is not Tony Dinning's shirt, that is Ian Moore's from the game, but Tony Dinning's long sleeve one is my most wanted County shirt that is currently still out there. The following season then, 2000-2001, we keep the same Patrick home shirt, albeit with the addition of new nationwide sleeve patches. And then the following season, 2001-2002, we get a completely new Patrick design, and it's the last time we see Robinson's best bitter on our shirt. It's not a great season for County. Andy Kilner goes as manager to replace by Carlton Palmer. We set a post-war record low points total. We're relegated by March, but we still beat City 2-1 at Edgeley Park. John Hardiker scoring 2 late goals. We leave the second tier and we're now back in the third tier, and you can see really a bit of a decline across both the kits but also the club. We've gone from Adidas to Patrick. We're now getting kits supplied by TFG, and we've lost Robinson's after 11 years, and we now have local beer Scandia in our shirts. Carlton Palmer's in charge. That is his shirt from the season. Also the away shirt from that season. If you remember little Chris Williams, the attacking player, he was about that big. This is his shirt, which really would be big on Ashley Williams, let alone Chris Williams. We finished mid-table, don't really do an awful lot that season. The following year, it's basically the same shirt, albeit without the 100 years at Edgeley Park. So the following season, 2004-2005, we've got Sammy McIlroy in charge, we've got Luke Beckett, we've got new players Warren Feeney, Mark Bridge-Wilkinson, Derek Geary. We've also got Ricky Lambert and Ashley Williams. A decent manager in Sammy McIlroy. You think we could be on for something here, we could have a good season. What actually happens is we finish bottom of League One with 6 wins, 26 points from safety. So we get relegated from League One, we're now in League Two, but you think, right, we'll make a good go with this. We'll consolidate, we'll come back, we'll be all right. What actually happens is we lose 6-0 at Macclesfield on Boxing Day, wearing this shirt, and we are bottom of the Football League, 92 out of 92 with just 17 points. Chris Turner goes as manager and Jim Gannon comes in. Jim's first game is the 2nd of January 2006. We played Cheltenham at home, and there's a guy on the bench who we've never heard of as County fans. After an hour, Jim says to this guy, do you fancy a bit of it? He comes on and 6 minutes later scores his first goal for the club. That man is Liam Dickinson, and that is his shirt from his debut that he scored his first ever County goal on. But going back to some of the players who probably weren't up to it and probably shouldn't have been wearing the shirt for County, alongside Dicko on the bench that day was a guy who for me personifies exactly what that was all about. He's a guy who played 11 games for County, he never scored. He was a centre-half converted into a striker. He was sent off after 6 minutes at Wrexham, he was subbed at half-time 4 times and only ever completed 90 minutes on 3 occasions, and that guy was Ludovic J. And you do have to really ask the question, if Jim had brought Ludovic J on instead of Liam Dickinson in that first game, where would County have been, where would Liam Dickinson have been, and where would Jim have been as a manager? Because I'm almost certain Ludovic J would not have scored in that game. 3 games from the end of the season, in a relegation battle, we go to Torquay in a must-win 6-pointer. We lose the must-win game 4-0. This is the shirt we wore on that night. It's the only time we ever wore this to avoid a kick clash with Torquay. This was worn by Liam Dickinson. Of course, we did stay up still, 2 0-0 draws against Barnet and Carlisle in our final 2 games, coupled with a complete collapse from Oxford, saw us stay up and Oxford go down. And that takes us into 2006-2007. So 2006-2007, it's Jim Gannon's first full season in charge now, and after a strong end to 05-06, that hopes are high that we could be a decent outside bet from the playoffs. It's a fairly poor start to the season. We lose 3-0 at home to Shrewsbury, and there's almost some dissent against Jim Gannon already. We pick up in November, December time, and then in January, we sign a striker from Boston. That man is Anthony Elding. He scores on his debut against Boston, and that game is the first of a 9-game run, which saw some County achieve something which no Football League team had ever done before, and something no Football League team has ever done since, which is win 9 games in a row without conceding. In that run, we wear this shirt 8 times. We wear this shirt once in a 3-0 win away at Peterborough. It was Darren Ferguson's first game as a manager. We ruined the party, and the man who opened the scoring that day from a free kick was Michael Rose. We also wore this shirt, which is the same as the previous season's away shirt, albeit with a different style sponsor. We wore this on 3 occasions, twice at Chester in the league and the cup, and once at Bristol Rovers, Michael Rose scoring direct from a corner in a 2-1 defeat. We ultimately missed out on the playoffs in the last few minutes of the season. 2007-2008, and this is our pre-season shirt, known as the Inter Milan shirt, for obvious reasons. It looks like an Inter Milan shirt. It's also the shirt that we wore in the first game after Danny Bergara passed away, and in a lovely quirk of fate, it also saw Dave Jones back at Edgeley Park for the pre-season friendly against Cardiff, which meant Dave Jones and Jim Gannon could leave the tributes to Danny and put the flowers down at the Cheadle end. County ultimately beating Cardiff that day 6-4 in that shirt. So we move on to 2007-2008 now. And here we've got the regular season home shirt, the blue Just Search sponsored shirt. We've got the regular white away shirt that was worn by Gary Dicker. And we've also got the gold or beige or Caramac coloured third shirt. This is a long sleeve one worn by Anthony Pilkington. And he wore this shirt in a 3-2 win at Bury, Pilkington scoring for us. We've also got John Ruddy's third choice keeper shirt. This was only worn on a handful of occasions, including at Barnet towards the end of the season, but it was also worn by Chris Adamson in the Stainstown debacle when we lost on penalties to them in November. Final game of the season, we're in the playoffs. We play Rochdale at Wembley, we win 3-2. Anthony Pilkington got the Man of the Match award from Sky, but many people's Man of the Match that day was Paul Turnbull. That's his shirt from the game. Also on the bench that day was a striker that I'm sure many of you remember, it was Adam Proudlock. But going into that game, Jim Gannon had a bit of a problem. The regular keeper for the second half of the season had been John Ruddy, and up until the playoff semi-final first leg away at Wickham, John Ruddy was still in goal. It was his mistake that ultimately led to Delroy Facey opening the scoring for Wickham, a poor kick out from Ruddy due to his groin injury. For the second leg, Ruddy was dropped and Conrad Logan came in and kept a clean sheet. Jim said to Ruddy in the build-up to Wembley that Conrad Logan would be starting the game, you'd be on the bench. And John Ruddy said, well, if I'm not number 1, then I'm not going, I'm not travelling, I'm going to bring my operation forward, which left Jim and County with a bit of a problem. We had Conrad Logan as a number 1, which was fine. As a number 2, we either had Chris Adamson, who had proved he couldn't really be trusted, or we start with no keeper. We couldn't bring in an emergency loan keeper because we still had Adamson, he just wasn't up to the job. For a long time after that game, there was a rumour that Adam Proudlock was named the sub-keeper at Wembley. And I always found that quite hard to believe. I thought there's no way somebody as meticulous and prepared and studious as Jim Gannon would have a striker as a sub-keeper in a Wembley final. Fast forward to summer 2020, and I get a picture sent to me from somebody who used to work at the club, and it's of a still from the Wembley changing room after the Rochdale game. And in the background, there was a green keeper shirt with Proudlock 31 on it. So suddenly the hunt is on, this keeper shirt does exist. Proudlock had just been appointed manager at Ecclesall FC in Staffordshire, so that day I contact Ecclesall FC and say, hi, please can I speak to Adam Proudlock? They say, no, of course you can't, go away. So I contact the media manager at Ecclesall and explain the story and say, look, please can you ask Adam 3 questions. Was he the sub-keeper for County that day? Was there a keeper shirt made up with his name on it? And does he know where that keeper shirt is? He got back to me about an hour later and said, yes, he was the sub-keeper. Yes, there was a shirt made up for it. And yes, he does know where it is. He's still got it in his collection. I spoke a bit more to the media guy that day, arranged to go down to Staffordshire the next day, collect the shirt off him. And that is Proudlock's keeper shirt from Wembley. And if the collection was to suddenly combust now and set fire, that is the one shirt that I would save. And that's my absolute favourite in the whole collection. So we move on to 2008 and 2009, and we get another season out of the same Diodora home shirt. The final home game of the season, we played Crewe 4-3. Ollie Johnson scores a chip to win the game, ironically over John Ruddy. That is Ollie Johnson's shirt from that game. In 2009-2010, we wear these Macron shirts and we finished bottom of League One. In 2010-11, we wear these Nike shirts and we finished bottom of League Two, which takes us into 2011-2012, having suffered consecutive relegations. We are now in the non-league for the first time, breaking 106 years of continuous appearances in the Football League. Didi Hamann as manager, replacing Ray Matthias. He lasts until November when Jim Gannon comes back for a second spell and we finish in the mid-table. Home shirt, away shirt, third shirt. If you're wondering why you've never seen this keeper shirt before, it's because we never wore it. By his own admission, Richard Landon made this up for Ormston before realising the National League rules, or the conference rules at the time, that said keepers can, well, no clubs can play in black or navy because the referees always wear black shirts, whereas in the Football League, they often wear different coloured shirts. So we never wear that. 2012-13, Jim Gannon sacked in January, leaves the club for a second time, and he's replaced by Daria Kalazic. Daria Kalazic leaves the club and he's replaced by Ian Bogey. And on the final day of the season, we go to Kidderminster, where in this shirt, we lose 4-0 and we do the unthinkable and we drop into part-time regional football, as it was known, the Skrill North. It's often forgotten on that day, it could have been even worse. Ian Ormston wore this keeper shirt at Agborough, saved a penalty, so it could have been 5. So 3 years after playing Southampton and Charlton and Leeds in the Football League, we are now on a level footing with Colwyn Bay, Vauxhall Motors and Bradford Park Avenue. And these are the shirts that we wore that season. This is a pre-season shirt for Roger Wiles' testimonial. But personally, optimism was that, well, we've dropped to this point. We can't get any worse. We'll win this league. It'll be great. We'll look back on it. It's the catalyst for success and we'll bounce straight back through the leagues. What could go wrong? What did go wrong? On the opening day, we lost 4-1 at home to Boston. After 5 games, we were bottom of the league with 1 point and no manager, Ian Bogey resigning on the pitch at Harrogate. That was the home shirt. We wore this shirt away in a 3-0 defeat at Altrincham, also in a 2-1 defeat away at Histon. And the third shirt we wore on several appearances as well. And just as we talk about the rich history of county, when we played Manchester City and Blackburn and West Ham and Southampton, it's equally important to remember that these clubs had the right to play us, the same as we had the right to play those bigger clubs. And while that is a great moment in our history, this is just an equally valid part of our history and one that we should recognise and remember. So that's 2013-14, the club's lowest ever league finish, lower half of the 6th tier. Summer of 2014, we have 2 testimonial games. The first one is for Mike Flynn on the 18th of July. The second one, the 2nd of August, for Richard Landon. We play Macclesfield 3-2 in this black shirt. There's 3 variations of this blue Joma shirt. We've got Flinny's testimonial one, the regular season home shirt, and also the poppy shirt we wore in a 2-1 win against Brackley. And there's 2 examples of that shirt there, and they were raffled off by the club after the game to raise money for the poppy appeal. So 2015-16, another round of kits, and now we've got another new manager. Alan Lord has stepped down and he's replaced by Neil Young, and initially hopes are high. Young's got a track record of success at this level, getting Chester promoted, and things start well. We win our first 3, we're top of the league, we then draw with North Ferriby at home in a 1-1, and the wheels begin to fall off. We play Staley Bridge at home at the end of August, we lose 3-0, Glenn Rule is sent off and banned for 10 games for biting an opponent. In October, we go to Solihull away, and Andy Robinson, in this number 12 shirt, is sent off before he even gets on the pitch. He's coming on the pitch as a substitute, says something to the linesman, and he's instantly sent off. This is our cup shirt for the season. Unfortunately, it didn't get much airtime. In the FA Cup, away at Fylde, we wore this blue shirt. It's our earliest ever exit from the FA Cup, the second qualifying round. In the FA Trophy, we fell at the first hurdle, a 2-0 defeat at home to Nantwich. So we only ever really saw this shirt in the Cheshire Senior Cup, which we did go on to win that season. Worth mentioning this shirt as well. This was worn by Dean Henderson in his first ever game, in a semi-professional game, and it's worth remembering that Mike Flynn gave him his debut in his 1 match as caretaker manager. So on to 2016-17 now. Jim Gannon has of course come back for his 3rd spell as manager, and this is his first full season back. And this shirt is known as either one of 2 things, either the Sampdoria shirt, for it looking remarkably like a Sampdoria shirt, or the Danny Lloyd shirt for everything Danny Lloyd did for us that season. That is his number 11, and Danny got 29 goals for us that year, 25 assists, but he still didn't get player of the season. Lewis Montrose did. And on the final day of 2016, it's another one of those dreaded must-win games for County. We play Gloucester at home in the final league game of the season, knowing that a win will see us into the playoffs. We wear this shirt. It's the 50th anniversary shirt of winning the Division 4 title in 1967, and each of the player shirts pays tribute to one of the 1967 squad. This is Lewis Montrose's shirt, and he has Eddie Stewart's name on his sleeve. With it being a must-win game, County failed to win. It's 1-1, and we miss out on the playoffs. The following season, 2017-18, we do go one better. We get to the playoffs, but we lose 1-0 at home to Chorley. This is our away shirt from the season, black and white Robinson sponsored, but we do wear this in a home win, a 4-1 win against FC United on the 4th of November, and we wear this as part of the Remembrance Day activities. We've got the British Legion and the poppy on the sleeve. So 2018-19, we win the league and we get out of this division. This is Matty Warburton's home shirt from the season, number 10. We've also got Matty Warburton's number 10 away shirt, as well as the third shirt that we wore at Nuneaton in the 3-0 win, which saw us finally get out of the division. This is number 14, worn by Elliot Osborne. And each of these third shirts has got the For George print on the back, paying tribute to George Hay, who passed away shortly before this game. We've also got a couple more shirts from that season. We've got Ben's third choice keeper shirt that he wore this in a 1-0 defeat away at York, saving a penalty. We've also got another one from Nuneaton here, this one worn by Darren Stevenson, again with the For George print on the back. We've also got the souvenir shirt issued by the club after we won promotion to celebrate the title win, each of the shirts with a unique number on the sleeve. So into 2019-20 now, we're back in the National League, and this is the season that COVID curtailed. In our final game before the season and the world shut down, we go to Maidenhead, we win 2-1. Liam McAlinden scored the winning goal for us that day, and that is McAlinden's shirt. And being back in the National League, we've got a return to squad numbers and names on the shirt rather than straight 1 to 11. So we've got Conor DeMeo with name on the shirt and a squad number of 17, as well as having Jordan Keane's shirt from that season as well, and Ben Hinchliffe's ludicrous third choice keeper shirt that we wore in a 5-1 win away at Torquay in November. So that takes us now onto the shirts from the season just gone, 2020-21. We've got Paddy Madden's home shirt, Tom Walker's away, Macaulay South and Hales third, as well as Ben Hinchliffe's regular first choice keeper shirt from the first half of the season. We've also got the special edition shirt that we wore against West Ham in the third round of the FA Cup, 11th of January, and there's 4 differences between this and the regular season home shirt. The first one, we've got the FA Cup sleeve patch rather than the Vanarama sleeve patch. We've got the match detail for the first time since Rochdale in 2008, and only the second time we've ever had that. We've also got the alternative sleeve sponsor rather than the NHS sponsor on the league shirts. And we've also got a different style, numbers and letters on these. The Madden shirt being the league issue numbers and letters, these being the in-house style that we've done ourselves for the cup game. And then that takes us up to the present day, and the new shirts issued for the 21-22 season. We've got the blue home shirt, white away and pink third, and for the first time since 2011-12 we've got parity with sponsors across all 3 shirts. The last time we had the same sponsor on all 3 shirts, unfortunately, was GT Law. The white shirt is inspired by the time we were known as the Lily Whites and will be paired with black shorts and black socks, and the pink shirt we wear with black shorts and pink socks. Thank you very much for listening.